You are listening to Penne Pyro, Book 2 of the Jade Sommer Series, written by Nicolette Pierce. Copyright 2021. Audio copyright 2025 by Pierced Heart Publishing. Digitally narrated with full cast of voices. Chapter 5. When I returned home, I found Mila at the kitchen table. She leaned forward in concentration as she looked at her sticker-laden laptop. It wasn't until I said a loud hello that she jerked away from the screen.
You scared me. When did you get home?
Just now. Our apartment wasn't spacious in terms of square footage, and there weren't many places to hide. If she didn't notice me come in, then she was in serious concentration mode. Even as my past assistant, I could walk by Mila and not have her notice me if she was working on a project. "What are you doing?" I asked. She glanced away as if avoiding the question. "Nana put you to work, didn't she?" I questioned, knowing there was an ulterior motive for her visit. When it came to Nana, nothing was as simple as a grandmother wanting to say hello to her grandchild.
I promise I'm not helping her. But she got me thinking about the arsonist.
While I had come home to clean up after the cannoli incident, Mila rerouted my attention. I took a seat across from her. After the fire at Mr. Lee's, I wanted to know more. "Did you find anything?" I asked.
Nothing concrete. Mostly it's just news articles and videos about the fires. As far as I can tell, they don't have leads. But there is one thing peculiar.
"What?"
Each time there is a fire, a handful of pasta is left behind. And it doesn't matter the type of restaurant. It could be a Mexican restaurant or an Indian restaurant. There is always uncooked pasta. They are calling the arsonist the Penne Pyro.
I remembered Arnold Jugs had told me that little tidbit. "Anything else?" She shook her head.
I just find it odd. Why noodles? It makes no sense.
It didn't make sense. But setting fires to restaurants didn't make sense either. What was the point except for insurance payouts or revenge? I doubted the random acts were about insurance. So was it revenge? But how could you hate so many restaurants? "A fire started at Mr. Lee's this morning," I said. "I'm heading over there to see how I can help, but I'll ask if they found any dry noodles."
Oh no, I'll come with you.
"Just give me a few minutes. I have to change and brush my teeth." A delicately groomed brow arched.
Why do you have to change?
"I'll tell you on the way to the restaurant, but it has to do with Kobe and an eating competition." I left her to stew on that while I dug out fresh clothes. I didn't have many. Most of my clothes had been left behind in my quick escape. It had been over a month since I abandoned them and fled to Chicago. I assumed they were now long gone, especially since I knew Alan the Jerk's girlfriend had temporarily moved in. Most of the clothes were business attire, but there were other clothes I wished I would have thought to bring with me. And shoes. Now I had 3 pairs of jeans, 5 shirts, and a uniform polo. I really needed to go clothes shopping, but even with last night's tips and the $200 Kobe owed me, I still couldn't afford to spend it. I'd have to break down at one point and dig out the credit card. It was about 30 minutes later when Mila and I arrived at Piatto Perfetto. We walked in through the back alley door to find my mom and dad in the kitchen. "Do you have an update on the fire?" I asked. Mom shook her head.
"We haven't seen Mr. Lee or Lily since they left to go talk to the emergency crew."
Mila and I headed through the dining room and out the front door. The majority of the emergency vehicles had left, and the road was reopened to traffic. Only one crew remained. The door to Mr. Lee's was propped open as people came and went. A lingering scent of ash and cooking oil filled the air. I scanned the area. "Do you see Mr. Lee or Lily?"
No, but I see a hot detective coming our way.
"What?" I asked right before my gaze tripped on Logan. He was looking all sexy with his badge clipped to his belt and walking with a slight swagger that I doubted he even knew he had. Great. I had hoped for more time before I saw him again. While these fires had rivaled for brain space, he was still there. He was always there. And now he was in front of me and Mila fled. Traitor. Are you still assisting on the case? I asked.
When I have time. But I came as soon as I heard it was Mr. Lee's that got hit.
I understood. I would have done the same in his shoes. Mr. Lee's dumplings had been a favorite of ours while growing up. I heard something about pasta always being left at the scene. Were there any noodles found at Mr. Lee's?
I can't say.
You can't say because you don't know? Or because it's part of the investigation?
It's part of the investigation.
So, there was pasta.
Jade, you can't assume that.
I can. If you didn't know, you would have told me you didn't know. So, if it's part of the investigation, then there was pasta. Who would do this?
A team is working on it. Just make sure you and Nana don't stick your noses into it.
I rolled my eyes. Is that all you wanted to tell me?
No.
He averted his gaze for a moment before slowly finding eye contact again.
After our talk last night, I just wanted to make sure we're okay. I know this is probably just as awkward for you as it is for me. I just didn't expect you to stay in Chicago. Otherwise, I would have told you sooner.
I wasn't sure if it was indigestion from the yacked-up cannoli, or if it was because the thought of Logan engaged to Avery made my stomach burn. But I really wanted this conversation to end. We're fine, I said to appease him. I was far from fine, but it would do neither of us good if I said otherwise.
Will you come to the party?
Do you want me to?
I want you to do whatever you're comfortable with.
That wasn't helpful at all. I wanted to know what he wanted. Logan, this is your party. It's about you and Avery. I willed my stomach to behave. I will come because Avery asked me to. But if you say no, I won't come, and there will be no hard feelings. I wasn't sure which way I wanted this to go down. On one hand, if he said it was okay if I came, then he was either pretending we were okay, or he was truly over our past. And if he didn't want me to come, then I'd know for sure he wasn't over our past but still willing to marry someone else. I didn't want to know.
Come to the party.
I gave a nod.
I better go.
I gave another nod and watched as he walked back to the lingering activity. There was no sign of Mr. Lee and Lily. I hoped they were okay. Maybe Lily could bunk with me until they sorted out housing. I wasn't sure if Mr. Lee would be happy to live with a bunch of girls, but I could extend the invitation. I'd have to ask Mila first. It was her apartment after all. This was the second night Avery and Aunt Dot worked together. If I thought they were going to kill each other on the first night, it was nothing compared to what I witnessed as I picked up a pizza for delivery.
Petite portions,
Avery said, pointing at a plate loaded with gnocchi.
This is about presentation and quality, not how much the plate can hold.
Aunt Dot bristled.
We always serve generous portions. There is nothing worse than going to a restaurant, spending money, and walking out hungry. It's robbery.
It's quality, not robbery.
Not according to the one-star review we got last night.
Don't worry about the review. That's just growing pains from evolving into a better restaurant.
We were a great restaurant until you came along.
You were one step away from closing your doors. I'm trying to save the restaurant.
We don't need this kind of saving. Just go. Go back to your fancy restaurant and rob those customers. We're done.
Ross hurried into the kitchen from the dining room.
What is going on? The diners can hear you.
I want her out of here,
Aunt Dot said. Ross glanced at me as if I was supposed to do something. I grabbed the pizza box and slowly retreated. He narrowed his eyes at me. But what was I supposed to do? These were two alpha chefs. I was a delivery driver. Neither of them would listen to me when it came to plating.
Let's take a quick time out. We can discuss the issue after we close.
There is nothing to discuss. We've tried this arrangement and it's not working.
This is only temporary.
Aunt Dot narrowed her eyes on Ross. He was doomed,
I'm part owner here.
she stated, slapping her hand on the prep table.
I've worked here since I could walk. If I say this isn't working, then I expect you to listen to me. I want her gone.
Can I see you outside?
Ross said. It wasn't a question, and I had to give Ross credit. He wasn't backing down while I was ready to flee. Not many people stood up to Aunt Dot. He waited for her to move to the back exit before following her outside. I was stuck with a pizza box in my hand and my exit blocked. I gave Avery an "I'm sorry" shrug and tried to walk out to the alley without Aunt Dot or Ross noticing me.
She's a snooty, stuck-up chef who thinks she's better than everyone,
Aunt Dot said. I tiptoed around them as Ross and Aunt Dot stood across from each other, both with a broad stance and crossed arms.
We've advertised that she is our guest chef for the week. We can't go back on that. We're getting new customers because of her.
What about our old customers who leave starving?
We'll worry about them next week.
It will be too late.
I sat on the scooter and started it, wincing as the motor squealed to life. They both flashed me a narrow-eyed glare. I mouthed a sorry to Ross. Aunt Dot threw up her hands.
You know what? Fine. Chef Snooty can stay for the week. But I'm not working with her.
Okay, maybe we can have you do something different.
No, I'm done.
Aunt Dot took off her apron and tossed it to Ross.
If she can save the restaurant, she can do it without me.
Aunt Dot walked down the alley and out of sight. Ross watched her retreat with a gaping mouth. When she was out of view, he cursed and headed back into the restaurant. Not knowing how to help, I took off to deliver the pizza. We didn't need to get another bad review because I was late. As I drove the few miles to the address, I wondered what our reviews were like. Did most of the diners feel the same as the one-star reviewer felt? Maybe there were 5-star reviews that liked the new menu. I'd have to take a look at it after my shift. Until then, I had tips to earn.